got the same move with every club. I'm the only golfer with the feeling of greatness. I'm the only golfer living that's got the master move and the feeling of greatness.
Hey, welcome to the Feeling of Greatness podcast. It's Todd Graves, and I am excited to have the chance to hop on today. And it's been a while since I had a chance to kind of speak my mind on what's happening here at Graves Golf. I got some really exciting stuff. I'm very excited about what we're doing with some of the programs here at the Academy. It's interesting because the evolution of our company, I reflect on this quite a bit and enjoy kind of where the company is going. We built a golf training center here in Edmond, Oklahoma, on a very, very nice piece of property. And it's fun to see how this academy is evolving into a place where people are reinventing themselves. And I want to get into that a little bit today about this whole idea of reinvention. But at the academy, we have a 6-hole training center, a beautiful tee deck, beautiful training academy here. I'm expanding it. We're doing a lot of things here to really help people develop their golf games. And one of the things we're seeing as a side note is we're seeing parents bringing their kids out because they haven't had it's when you want to teach your kid to play golf, it's difficult when you're a member at a club because you feel like, well, I can't really teach my son how to play because I can't take him to the course, or I can't teach my daughter because she goes on the course and she's not good yet. So she gets in the way of other members trying to play. So you take her to the range and she's taking up tee space, and parents, that's a common complaint we hear, is no place to really teach my child how to play the game. And out here, mothers and fathers are bringing their sons and daughters out and teaching them how to play. And I love seeing that. It's not something I expected, but it's certainly something I like to see happening. So I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying seeing that evolution of having a place that parents can bring their kids out and teach them the game. And obviously we will help as much as we can with that. But the topic today really that I want to do, kind of roll with, is we're winding up this year. It's December, and all of you, we kind of take inventory. We're going through the holiday season, but what's going to happen is the holidays are going to wrap themselves up and we're going to find ourselves in a new year, 2025. And, I always think this is a time of year where I'm not really, I'm not traveling as much. I'm not as busy. So I have this kind of time to reflect. It gets dark at 5:00 in the afternoon. And so you got this time. I was telling my wife, I think we were in bed at 8:00 last night, and I was saying, are we just getting really old or what? But it's you get time to reflect on and take inventory. And so I wanted to kind of chat about what next year looks like, and maybe give you some thoughts on how I believe that we should be taking inventory of where we're at, and then taking these changes that we want to make, if there is any, and reinventing ourselves. I think one of the things that we have been very good here at Graves Golf is reinventing the company in a lot of ways, because number one, business changes, we grow, and that's, all of us are growing. And one of the things that I think is very important in my life when I start thinking through the whole idea of reinvention is hiring coaches. I have a coach right now I'm working with, and matter of fact, I have a coaching session this afternoon. It's Tuesday of every Tuesday afternoon at 4:00. I do a training session with my coach, and he's a business kind of strategy coach that I work with. And we talk about, we strategize, we build plans, and then I have, a week to accomplish the goals of the previous coaching session and the accountability of that. So, when we talk about reinvention, we have to talk about, what is it that we want to change? We have to do check our inventory of where we're at. Then we have to decide what we want to change. And then what's the strategy for us? What's the to-do list that we want to put into place that's going to help us get to that next level of where we want to go? And then here's where it comes in, is we get to a point where we're like, well, I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to make that change. I don't know what I need to do. And that's where you need to hire a coach. So what I do, and I'll just tell you what the process for me is. What I do is I sit down and I make inventory. And the inventory is everything, every aspect of my life: relationships, business, finances, health. Health is a big one. And I write these things down. I put them on a piece of paper, and there's all the elements of my life that I look at. So let's say it's a grid, right? And I say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do I feel about this stuff? And, let's say my health is at a 5 and I want to improve my health, but my business is at a 6. And, so you'll have certain, your gut instinct, how you feel about it. And then you say, okay, I want all these things I want to improve all these things. Well, what is the thing that I can do to improve that one thing? And let's just take health for an example. Last year, I really strategized my health. And I said, I really need to prioritize this. And so I put my health as on the priority list. And I started just talking to some doctors and talking to some specialists, and took inventory on it, and got my hormones checked and my blood checked and all this stuff. And it's really paid dividends. It took me a year, but I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm in good shape. My body fat percentages are down, and I'm actually super excited about it. So it creates some momentum about your life. So, what other inventory things do I need to take? Is it personal stuff that's going on with your relationships? Is it finances? So these are the things that I think you take inventory of, and then you make a strategy. And what's important is that, number one, you recognize where you're at. Number two is you then start strategizing it. What is my plan? And then the biggest third step is, do you need to get help in that? And I think this is where most people fall down, because they think they can do it on their own. And look, there's too much going on for you to try to do it on your own. This is what I've learned, is that you can't do it on your own. Because what'll happen is you'll try to do it on your own, and the learning curve is too high. And there's somebody out there right now that could be helping you today. They could give you a solution and build your strategy for you and get you helping you right now and save you all this time and energy. But if you try to do it yourself, you're 6 months away from even knowing what you're doing. Think about, like, if you're building your house and you try to do it on your own, you're going to make mistakes, and it's going to take you forever to figure it out. You'll figure it out, but it's going to take a long time, and you're probably not going to do it in the right way when there's an expert out there that can really, really get you on the right path. So a lot of reinvention is the taking inventory and then the reinventing and basically saying, okay, I want to improve these areas of my life, and then getting help around that. When it comes to your golf game, and that's, obviously our expertise here at Graves Golf, it's really fascinating on if you do this with your golf game, because one of the things I'm developing here at Graves Golf is single plane select. It's what we call level 5. Now, I've talked to some of you about this, and if you're listening to this program, this may interest you. One of the things that we're able to do now with the Performance Center is we have control over the training center. And I know that might not sound like a big deal, but it is a big deal when I'm coaching you and I say, hey, let's run out to the course and hit some shots, or let's run over to the practice green and use the practice green. Our company history has been always leasing space from really great partners in golf courses, Eagle Creek, and we have the Legacy Club in Phoenix. So these places have been great to us, and they are great facilities, but I can't just grab you and run to the course at these places. I have to work around the what's going on out there, the golf course, because it's operating. And so we've always done it pretty well. But this training center was really our way of saying, hey, I want to have a program next week. I want to bring you in next week, and I can do that because we have full control over what goes on at the facility. And that's a really nice thing to be able to have. So with that in mind, I had this idea in my head for a long time of what we call level 5. And level 5 is where one trend I've seen in our instruction is this. Those of you out there who really, really reinvent yourself and strategize your year right now are thinking about 2025. And if I'm helping you strategize this, I'm going to say, look, you're going to want to come to a golf school or come to an instruction program, but you don't need, but if you come to the program, you're going to need follow-up on that program. And you guys ask this question all the time. What do I do next? What's my follow-up? And we have obviously our online training, but you need to come back for another program, we need to check you. And I would say it's every quarter, every 90 days. 90 days seems to be this interesting amount of time where you can really make change. I don't know what it is about 90 days, but we seem to be able to accomplish things in 90 days. I know it takes me at least 90 days to get my feet down and my roots in the ground when I'm making a change. So think about it this way. If I really want to transform you and really help you, I need these 90-day blocks of time to strategize with you, set some goals, and then move you to the next 90 days. And every 90-day increment, we can make these major changes. And just think about what a year looks like now if you make these really cool transformational things happen every 90 days. So putting this all together, we have this great training center, Graves Golf Performance Center. I can now bring people in multiple times throughout the year and do the follow-up that's necessary, do the reassessment that's necessary, do the goal setting that's necessary. And in these 90-day blocks, transform your golf games. And I've never really been able to do that before because we've never had the facility, we've never had the resources, we never had the ability to do that. And now we do. That I'm very excited about. We've already had quite a few people enroll in the program for 2025. We're just now launching it. So this may be the first time you're hearing about it, but let me just kind of tell you what it is. So we base Graves Golf. Graves Golf, you may not know this, because you hear about us because of the single plane swing. But Graves Golf the concept is the single plane golf swing, but really our instruction is the total game approach of what we call the 7 principles of golf improvement. The 7 principles of golf improvement is, and you guys know this, but you may not recognize it. There's elements of the game that we cover at every one of our golf school programs. You have the swing, the long game. You have the short game. You have putting, right? And then you have what we call club fitting or single plane fit, which is knowing your equipment. And then you have course management. And then you have knowing how to practice, the skill of practicing. This is the skill of saving time. and then you have the mental game, which Paul Monahan is a major part of that with our organization. And then you have fitness. So there's 7 principles plus the 8th being fitness and flexibility. Well, look at those first 3 principles. That's a skill set. So the first 3 principles are really a skill set. And when your first 3 skill sets are improving, then your equipment, knowing your yardages becomes more absolute. And then you can then take that to course management. So you can see how this 7 principles are all working together to make what I call the anatomy of a golfer. The anatomy of you as a golfer is more than just you hitting a golf ball. It's more than you just chipping. It's more than you just putting. It's you stepping on the golf course and having these parts of your game that all work together and that that you can go play and have fun and play your best golf. So our academy is based on 7 principles, and we teach all these principles at all of our programs. The problem that I see when you teach all these principles, there's a lot to being a golfer. Just hitting the ball good is just part of it. Just chipping good is just part of it. Just putting good is just part of it. There's a lot to improve. It's a never-ending, really, game of improvement, just like life. And just like I'm talking about today is reinventing yourself. We have to consistently stay in the mode of improvement, reinvention, and the little aspects. One of the things that, to me, I find critically important to doing all this is just being in the right environment, setting up your environment. That's part of the taking inventory process is, are you in the right environment to improve? One of the things here at the Graves Golf Performance Center is that's been a big mission of mine, has been to create a learning environment. This academy here is, you don't see a swimming pool down the hill. You don't see, this place is designed here to come out there and have a golf experience and improve your game and work on the aspects of your game and work on the 7 principles. That's what this place is designed for. And we're going to continue to evolve this place into a performance center where you come here to get better and have fun and develop your game. And my brother built a practice green over here. The elements of the practice green built into it are all the things you're going to need to learn around your short game. Just like the golf course we built, which is a 6-hole training course. All the shots are out there on that golf course. You can practice. You don't come out here to go play 18 holes. You can if you want to. You come out here to hit shots and to practice and develop and hit shots around the course and practice around the greens and drop a few more wedges on the side and drop it in a bunker and hit some shots. That's what this place is designed for. It's designed for you to dig in and reinvent your golf game here. And that's what we're really working on here, and to build that environment. So all those things are really, to me, how we need to start looking at 2025, because it's a great time to do it. And here's my recommendation too, is grab a piece of paper, write the parts of your life, like start with fitness, let's say, start with fitness, then go to, relationships, then go to finances, business, go to, your spiritual side, maybe spirituality. You want to do anything with that. So all the elements, those are pretty much the main elements that I always go to. And then under that category, I give myself a score, 1 to 10. So 10 being amazingly perfect, 1 being you got tons of work to do, 5 is average. So rate yourself on those. Some years I'm 10. I'm like, man, I'm good with all that. Some years, next year I could be a 1. Like I just dropped the ball on some things. So let's say I'm averaging 5 on everything. How do we get that to a 6 or a 7? And just write down, just take inventory. Your health, what can you do about that? Do you need to eat better? Do you need to, exercise more? Do you need to spend more time relaxing? You need to get, whatever. So take inventory. And then, so now you're going to have, okay, to get me from go to a 5 to a 7 or 5 to an 8, I need to improve these 4 things. Okay. And then you write those things down, and then you say, okay, now here's the next thing. Do I need help with that? And this is the question I think that most people have to, they ignore that part of it. They think they can do everything themselves. And I think that's the part you say, okay, is there somebody that can help me with that? Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe there's a book that can help. Sometimes a book gives you nice information. I have a hard time personally digging into books because I just want them to tell me what to do, right? Just tell me what to do. I don't want to read all this information. Just tell me what I need to do to go from 5 to a 7. That's what I find the value of a coach, because a coach is there to get you as fast as possible from 5 to 7. And that's why I hire coaches, because I'm like, give me the shortcuts. I recently had a meeting with a group here. I was working on some social media stuff for the company, and the group came in and they, they learned about the company for a few minutes, and I just turned to them. I was like, just tell me what to do. I said, I don't want to hear any stories. I really don't want to hear, and maybe I've just gotten kind of that way in my business life, but I'm like, thanks for telling me about your company. It's great, but I just want you to look at my company and say, tell me what I need. Tell me the top 4 things I need to do right now to elevate the level of my social media presence for Graves Golf, and give me that strategy. I just want a strategy. And then that's just tell me what to do in the strategy. And then I'll find a way to either hold myself accountable, or I'm going to hire you as a company to hold me accountable to that strategy. That's the way I think we have to do this, is we have to find out where our problem is, find out what we need to do, and then find some way to hold us accountable to that. And the accountability part is where that coach comes in, because coaches need to be holding you accountable. I had a funny story. One time I flew it to Atlanta. Actually, it was Buckhead, just north of Atlanta, to work with a trainer, a fitness guy that was really well known. And he was going to help me. And he said, Todd, he goes, if you want to come in here, here's what we'll do. He goes, I want you to move in with me for, I think it was 7 or 9 days. I don't remember now, but for about a week. He goes, move in with me for a week. I'm going to teach you how to train. I'm going to teach you how to eat. I'm going to go 7 days. You're going to do exactly what I say for 7 days. I'm like, great. So I went up there and I stayed with him. And for 7 days, he taught me. I ate every single meal with him. I trained with him every single day, and he showed me what it's like to be in that world of fitness and health, and help me understand the routines that I needed to put myself into, and change the way I knew how to do it. Here's what you're gonna do. I remember, and so one night, so I did that for with him, and then I called him back about 6 months later. I was like, I want to do that again. He goes, this time stay in a hotel, and I'll just meet you at the gym, but again, you can eat every meal with me, but you stay in the hotel. So I was staying in the hotel, and again, I was there for about 7 days. And we train in the morning, and then during the day I'm on my own. So I've got to make sure I'm eating right. So I'm working on my food preparation, and he told me things to eat. And so I'm doing that. And so that night he goes, we're going to dinner. So we go to dinner, and of course he goes to a place where we can get the proper foods. And this guy ate perfect, by the way. I mean, he wouldn't eat bread. I mean, it was just like ate perfect. And so he drops me off at the hotel, and he goes, I'll see you tomorrow at the gym at 7:00 in the morning. He goes, and so I go back up to the hotel room. I was staying at the Mandarin Oriental, really nice hotel. And I go up into the room, and at the Mandarin Oriental, they put chocolates on the bed. Like they prep your room, and they put little chocolates on the bed. And I reach down to grab a chocolate, and I'm unwrapping it to eat it, and my phone rings. And I grab the phone, and I hear him say on there, do not eat that chocolate. I swear to God, he knew that I was going to eat this chocolate off my pillow, And so it's like this accountability thing. And I love that. I mean, I lost it. I go, you're the best, man. You're the best. I go, I love people holding me accountable because, we're lazy. I'm lazy, and we don't want to change. We get so stuck in our ways. It's hard to make changes. And I have a coaching session this afternoon with my coach at 4:00. And here's my admission on this. I dread it. I dread my 4:00 coaching sessions. I know that sounds weird. Like I should be excited about my coaching session, but I dread it because I know he's going to highlight the things that I need to be held accountable for that I was lazy on this week. He's going to bring it up. He's going to make me become accountable. And it's so painful sometimes to realize, God, I could not hold myself accountable to that. But that pain of not being accountable to yourself. And then you're like, okay, I've got to make sure that I do this the next week. And then you do it and you feel so good about it, but it's hard. I'm telling you what, it's hard to stay accountable, but it's so powerful. And that's why I'm kind of talking about it today, because the accountability to you doing things that you're uncomfortable with is what's going to make you change. That's what's going to change you. And that's what we need coaches for. That's why we need, and if it's not coaches, it's people like your wife. It's people that are that are willing to hold you accountable. Those people in your life that are holding, we want to be held accountable because we want to change, but we don't know how to sometimes. And so I really appreciate those people in my life. And that's part of this process, is looking at next year and saying, hey, what do I want to change? What areas of my life do I want to grow in? How's that growth going to happen? And who do I need to bring into my life that's going to help me have that growth? And we just become, in that process, we reinvent ourselves. I'm giving you the process of reinventing you. It's what I think it keeps life interesting. It keeps life exciting. It's challenging. And I think we need these challenges because, being comfortable is one thing, but challenging yourself gets you out of bed every day. Right? It's what gets you out of bed and gets you excited every day. And I think that's so necessary. That's kind of what I wanted to bring up today on the podcast. The other thing too is, if you have any interest in joining me next year for my new launch of Level 5, which it's a select program where I'm bringing you in and we're doing, so let me just lay out the program for you and I'll wrap up with how we're doing this. You'll be coming in here 4 times a year. So I get to see you 4 times a year. I'm going to be at each event. So I get to spend 4 sessions with you every approximately 90 days. We're trying to do it every quarter. So every quarter, you're going to come in here for a session. We're going to cover the areas of the game, the 7 principles. So the first session may be long game and then short game. And then the second 90 days, and maybe there's a third principle. And then the second 90 days is going to be, let's say, course management, knowing your equipment, and then some long game. I'm going to try to put a little long game and swing work into each one of the sessions. So every quarter, we're working on the 7 principles, we're working on your golf swing, and we're able to transform you through a 90-day process. And in between, we're setting goals. So you're going to have to be accountable to the 90 days, the process 90 days. To me, my mission is to create a perfect learning environment and a perfect learning program to transform you and to really make change. And that's what I put together with Level 5. So I'm only taking a select number of people. Of course, we can't handle that many people in this because it's very taxing on the coaches. This is a very, we're trying to keep the ratio of students to teachers very low. So you get a lot of quality time with the coaches. We don't want, tons of people out here where you don't feel like you're getting the attention you need and the quality of instruction you need. So we're trying to keep the group small So we're only letting 50 people into the entire program for the year. So we're going to limit it. And it's my program that I'm limiting because I want it to be very intimate and a group of people that are really dedicated to getting better. So if you're interested in level 5, just email me at toddg@gravesgolf.com. If you're listening to this podcast, just send me a note and I'll get you connected and we'll get you into the program. We're going to kick it off. You have to be entered into the level 5 membership by the end of January. So but it may close off before then if we fill it up. So everybody has to be in the program by the 31st of January because I want to be onboarding and everybody in the coaching. I'll be creating an entire new group of level 5 inside Single Pin Academy. There'll be a group that I'm going to be dedicated to. So I'll be in level 5 working with you directly inside of all the coaching. So this is just basically a very elite program that I'm putting together for because I can really control the environment of that group, and I'm excited about it. So I've been working on this for almost 6 months now. We're now starting to launch it and roll it out. We've already had about 10 to 12 people join the program just in the last week. So we don't know how fast it'll fill up, but we're certainly excited about all of you guys hopping in there. So I'll wrap up today with saying, look, get a piece of paper out. Let's take inventory. Let's start taking a look at it. What do you want to change? Where are you now? What parts of your life do you want to work on? What are you having a hard time holding yourself accountable for? What's the strategy of what do you think you got to do to improve those parts of your life? And then let's go get the people around us that we need, the positive, energetic coaches that are going to help us stay accountable. And accountability, just because, look, sometimes your coaches are great, like go team. Sometimes they're like, you need to kick, I'm going to kick you in the ass. So sometimes you have to have that too. That's what a good coach does. He's giving you praise for the good stuff you're doing, and he's kicking you in the butt on the stuff you need to work on. So I'm going to wrap up by saying at 4:00 today, I'm probably going to get my butt kicked by my coach, but that's part of today. So I'm looking forward to it and dreading it at the same time. So thanks for joining me on today's podcast. I appreciate all of you. And final thing I'll say is I'm grateful to all of you for being a part of Graves Golf and being a part of this. And I look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully maybe see you in level 5. Take care.